Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with Crystal K. So this weekend I had the pleasure of covering a wonderful event in Atlanta, the Black Women's Expo, and it was great. It's a 2-day event, but sadly I was only there for Saturday. But as you can see, there were a lot of vendors and businesses to support. I picked up a few things myself. One of my favorite parts of the expo were the breakout panels. I actually got to attend the Protect Your Assets, SIS panel, which was put on by Chicago 300 Black women. They also do the same expo there and a couple other areas. The women on the panel, as well as the material discussed, were so genuine and authentic. You could just feel the realness and you can actually apply what they were saying to your own life. You left the room with a sense of empowerment. I have a few snippets, so definitely check out the video, and thank you ladies. I hope you guys enjoy, and I would definitely recommend going back to the next Black Women's Expo. Subscribe to my channel, like and follow me on IG and Facebook. And until next time, Shine Nation, I am Crystal K, and this is Let's Talk.
Where she's actually doing consulting, and she is a powerhouse. Like each one of them will look at
what it is, whatever that thing is. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do, and I'm going to sit down in just a second, Dr. Tammy, but I want to go around the room and ask each person
what my purpose was. I knew that God placed something in me, but I didn't know what it was. And so what I'm finding is that my talent is just speaking to people, motivating other people, sharing God's word and saying, get out of the boat and stand, because God has you. That we are all placed here to touch one another, and that when we leave here, we should be dying empty. We should have done everything that we're supposed to do here. So that's it.
To solve the problem of, say, maybe not enough special needs kids having access to the type of support that they need. So now the problem gets even smaller. So that's what you want to do. You want to take a big problem and continue to downsize it and zero in on how you're solving an even smaller problem. That are going to be interested in your services because of what you do and they need that problem solved. But there's a smaller group of people that are going to support you and want you to solve the problem because of how you do it.
All of our daily struggles. So my thing is I push people to gain insight and recognize that you are the only person that can make yourself happy. So,
yeah, it is a little heavy, right? Hello. Always making me think with these questions you guys ask, but I hope the problem that I solve is to give inspiration to unconventional dreams. And I say that because being an artist was never anything that seemed like a possibility where I grew up. Everyone's parents were kind of like, you know, maybe a police officer, maybe they work for the city, or, I mean, I didn't have friends whose parents were doctors or designers, architects, and so, you know, I saw the world almost on the other side of like a glass. There was your reality, and then there was the stuff that you see out in the world. And it really, through being a mom, it kind of cultivated me to find my own creativity because I had seen, you know, crystals. I used to watch Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I used to say, like, one day that is going to be me, right? And watching that, I learned that the best crystals you can have were Swarovski crystals. They're Austrian, they're, you know, all these wonderful things. And this was planted in my mind as a kid, but it still was never anything that I thought had anything to do with my life. It was kind of something that was cool.
When I realized that I like to bridge the gap between disbelief in yourself and self-belief. Just the things that we have in our head about our limitations. And I found myself doing that a lot to other people. You know, being able to say, no, this is why you can do this. This is why you're good enough. This is why we need this. So then that kind of translated into my life. When I found myself doing that to other people, I just started thinking, like, why can't I? Why do we find ourselves being in a position where we feel like, well, this is our limit, or this is who I am? All the titles that we have as nurses, or in your career is not who you are. So being able to look into it and see something more of it. Personally, as far as business though, I grew up in a household where we didn't have a lot of like skincare, or ivory soap was a thing. We didn't have body wash. So I found out.
I've talked to Ryan, I've talked to Audrey, I've talked to a few more about the fact that I think that I have the ability to be a Black girl connector. And the reason why I say that is because each one of these women on this panel I've talked to individually. And it's a beautiful thing when you're able to say to a woman who's already dope that they can be that much more greater, and to shoot for who you are and not ever allow society to make you feel less than. And I think what happens with Black women is that, you know, we get so caught up in who we are that as you begin to blossom, you know, our community starts to make us want to dim it and to dim your light and not shoot for the stars, and you're doing too much, or, you know, you're always posting yourself, and, you know, who do you think you are, and, you know, and all of that. And I've had that to happen to me time and time again. And I didn't recognize until sitting listening to all of these women talk about how God will give you something that allow you to give to somebody else, or just to not take away from who they are, but to add to that. And I think that one of the mothers stated that we should die empty. And so, you know, until I had a health issue, it didn't make me recognize until that happened about how precious life is in your interactions and how precious those are as well. And every time that you have the ability to try to help somebody to be better, that's what you're supposed to do. You're actually obligated to do that. And so the great thing about each one of these women I've talked to individually, and each one of them already have an innate gift that they're able to give you in this room. But the blessing to even, for me to sit on the side and watch them operate in that thing has been a blessing to me. So I want to say this, that, you know, to the right of me, you have Sika, who is one of maybe a short amount of women who is, you know, doing what she's doing, being a CRNA. There's not a lot of Black women that's an anesthesiologist and able to do the things that she's doing. Not only is she a nurse, she's doing things on a whole nother level. That's huge in our community. And I think all of them have minimized who they are at this table. And I know they don't want to come across as being like, oh, look at me, but I think that that's important, that we recognize that there's so many Black women in our community that's leading, but we get so caught up in how we look at each other that your success is not, our success is not your failure.
You have to make sure that you're balancing both your business life and also your family life, and making sure that you're pouring into your family and not taking everything and giving it to your business. So just prioritize, and the things I said that you do 1 through 3 is basically pray about it, prioritize. If you lost your family, could you recover from that? If you lost your business, could you build another one? Okay? And then also inclusion. Make sure you're including them in what you're doing.
She still got a back, no, that's for sure. No matter what may occur, like every day with her is like a plus. I'm a lover till she be like, that's enough. I'm about to get a couple wine glasses, fill them up and lip them up. Let us toast to the future.
Hold up. We got 2 tickets up for grab for the breast cancer special TV taping. This is gonna be our 4th winner for the day. Tickets for the breast cancer special TV. Remember, every hour, all the hour, we got more prizes, more giveaways. All you gotta do is sign